What's up, folks? Welcome to Mindset Tabletop, and we are continuing on with the collection, part 3, and we're going to go to engine building games. So we're going to start off at the top here with La Granja. This is one of my favorite games of late. Absolutely a beautiful game. This is about building up your farm, making it better as you go along, and selling your wares in the market. So every round you're playing a card. One card per round, and you're slotting it into your board on one of the 4 sides. And the cards are multi-use. So all the cards have like 4 different uses. There's something on the left, something on the right, something on the top, or something on the bottom. And you're going to slot them into that section of your board. You can get a worker, you can expand your farm, you can get a new crop, or you can get a new project to work on, which kind of takes a little while to complete. But this is an absolutely awesome thinky game where it doesn't really put too much pressure on you, but it still gives you that heavy Euro feel. It's really, really an awesome game. A medium weight engine builder that is just absolutely, as you can see, beautiful on the shelf. So let's move next down here to the shelves. Terraforming Mars. You've probably heard me talk about this game before. This is just an absolute masterpiece. This is as good as games get right here. The ultimate quintessential engine builder. So in Terraforming Mars, everybody is semi-cooperatively making Mars livable. You're raising the heat, you are raising the oxygen, and you are putting oceans on the planet. What you're doing is you're using a bunch of technologies you play from your hand, you're buying them, and you are using these technologies to do those 3 different things. Once all of the oxygen has raised up, all the oceans are on the board, and the heat is all the way to the top, you're going to finish that round, and then you're going to score everything up. Everybody scores the points that are equal to their terraform rating, which is also your income every round, which is really interesting. The points that you score actually get you more money as you go along. It's going to be based on that, the terraforming rating, plus all of the points that you get on your cards. I don't know. This game is so much fun. I recommend it to absolutely everybody who is new to gaming, but they want to get into something a little bit heavier and they want to see what board games can do today. Terraforming Mars is an absolute masterpiece. I love it. And let's move on. Wingspan, one of the biggest games in the history of the business. This game has been incredibly successful. There are expansions to it, and it's very, very fun. What you're doing is you're laying birds out into these queues, and the queues are all different habitats. The more birds you put into that habitat, the more powerful the habitat's action is. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your marker on a habitat on the farthest space to the left that doesn't have a bird on it. You're going to take that action, and then you're going to move your piece to the left, bird by bird. And if those birds have abilities, you're going to activate them as you go. So you're really kind of planning out your strategy here to get different eggs that you're going to need to plant birds later on into the habitats. You know, the top one gives you food, the middle one gives you eggs, and the bottom one gives you more birds. The food is kind of the money that you use to play the birds out, and they all have abilities on them. So yeah, you're playing these birds out into a queue, you're taking the action of that habitat, and then you're triggering all the birds in that habitat. Really, really cool, fairly quick, fairly simple, medium weight, I would say, engine building game. Wingspan, light medium. It's a Wonderful World. This is a lighter engine building game. Really just super quick turns. What you're doing is you're activating different resources. You're playing cards into your engine that give you more of that resource. And then every round, those resources are triggered in order. So you're going to get all those resources. If you get a resource that fills out a card that you have, you take that card and put it into your engine. If you haven't triggered that card's resource yet, then you get to use that card and trigger its resource. So there's a lot of planning that goes into this, but it's very quick. It's pretty simple, and it's definitely not one of the thinkier, harder engine building games. This is more of an intro style engine building game. Really gets you used to building things up to get benefits from them. It's a Wonderful World is really awesome. Kind of a futuristic theme. It's really, you're just kind of building up civilization. I guess You could loosely call this a civilization game, but it's really just a basic engine builder. It's triggering resources to get more resources. Very, very fun game, very rewarding, quick and easy. So yeah, it's a wonderful world. Next up, Ark Nova. This is obviously one of the most popular games on Board Game Geek, one of the highest rated games in the world. I did enjoy playing this, but the main thing that I got from this is it kind of felt a little bit like a slow Terraforming Mars, where in Terraforming Mars, you are getting all these different technologies all the time. You're playing stuff out from your hand all the time and triggering a lot of things off. You've got a lot of cubes on cards and a lot of things going on. With Ark Nova, it takes a little bit longer to get things done. So you're not going to be building as many, we'll say, projects as you do in Terraforming Mars. But it is really cool, like what you do. And at the end of the game, you can look down and say, yeah, well, I built that. So Ark Nova is an interesting game, but I haven't gotten to the table that much because most of the time I would just rather play Terraforming Mars. It's a little bit more rewarding, a little bit more, ooh, piece of candy, you know? But Ark Nova is a good game, and I can see why people like it. Next up, Gizmos. Absolutely one of my favorite games. This game is such a hit with my group. It's so great for new players to learn engine building, and it's got a cool tactile element to it. What you're doing is you're using these marbles that are distributed from this little non-electric distributor thing. You pile all the marbles into the thing, and it releases them, I think, 5 at a time. And you can choose from that market to grab different colored marbles, which are energies. Okay, and you're using those energies to build gizmos. When you build the gizmos, you slot them underneath your board, underneath a specific action. And when you activate that action, you activate all of the gizmos under that action in order. Really cool. A similar mechanism to It's a Wonderful World, where you're going through different cards and activating them as you go along in order. Gizmos is really, really fun. It's pretty easy to understand. It's the one little thing in the beginning is it's kind of hard to get past the iconography and to learn what everything does. But once you look up the cards, there's an easy reference in the book. I recommend always keeping that on the table. So if you look down at a gizmo and you're like, what does this thing do? You can generally easily reference it pretty quick. The Gizmos is great entry-level engine builder. So much fun. It's so cool to strategize when you're going to take what action and what gizmos you're going to trigger underneath that. There are also, I forget what they're called, but there are cards that kind of alter different energies and stuff like that, give you more energy or make certain things work better. And those don't trigger off, but they give you an ongoing ability. So you have like passive ongoing abilities in this game, and you have immediate triggers and chain reactions. So Gizmos is an absolute blast. This is a great game to start your collection with. This is a great game to introduce your friends to engine building with. Just could not recommend this higher. The only thing that bums me about this is I kind of feel like this game could use an expansion, and it hasn't gotten one yet. And it's been a long, long time, so it's probably not likely that it will get an expansion, but I would really love just a more of expansion for Gizmos. Space Base, another amazing game to bring new players into engine building. Wow, this came out, I believe, after Machi Koro, and it's a similar game to that, where you are rolling 2 dice on your turn, and you have slots on a board. You have 12 slots on a board. Those 12 slots are basically your docks. You're parking spaceships in those docks. You have starter ones, and then you can draft new ones from a market. You're going to buy those ships from the market, and then you're going to put them into their associated slot. But you have to take out the ship that was in that slot before. So what you're going to do is you're going to deploy the ship that you have in that slot. You're going to turn it upside down and slot it above your board. Then there's a little red bar on the top of it. And that's what you get when your opponents roll that number. But when you roll the dice on your turn, you basically choose to either use your dice individually. Say you roll a 3 and a 4, right? You've rolled a 7. You can activate your 7 slot on your board and take whatever bonuses you get from that. Or you can split the dice and activate your 4 and your 3 slots. So the 1 through 6 slots tend to be a little bit more basic, and the 7 through 12 tend to be a little bit more powerful. So when you combine your dice, it feels a little bit like a sacrifice to combine your dice, but you're getting way more powerful stuff when you do it. You want to definitely set up an engine in this game where you are using certain slots to trigger other slots. You want to fill in the top of your board so you're getting more stuff when your opponents roll. So yeah, I don't know if I explained it well, but you're rolling your dice on your turn. You activate the stuff on your board. They activate the stuff above their board. So yeah, Space Base is really, really fun because everybody's turn is everybody's turn. There's absolutely no downtime in this game. You're constantly getting stuff and constantly watching what your opponents are doing. The first person to get to the top of the points track triggers the end of the game, and then everybody's going to score after that. SETI. This game is fairly new to me. I don't have any of the expansions for it yet, but I really am still getting to know this game. But it's really awesome. It's all about exploring the solar system and trying to find extraterrestrial life. You're doing that through many different actions. You have scanning actions. You can send out probes. You can land those probes on moons or planets. You can have them orbit around instead. But you're sending out these probes. You're getting these different benefits from them. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get these different indicators, little pieces of information. I forget what they're called, but they're signs of extraterrestrial life. When you get those things, you start to fill in these tracks that are up above the board. When one of them is completely filled underneath the two aliens that you've chosen for the game, you're going to flip one over and discover a new alien species. That alien species then has a new set of rules which kind of change the game. So it's heavy, it's thinky, but it's very, very fun and very rewarding. I really like this game. It's one of those games that's going to take me a lot of plays to get better at, but I do look forward to repeatedly playing this game because there are different strategies that you can go for and different ways that you can do it. It's very fun flying around the universe, orbiting planets, discovering things, and then when you discover those new alien species and they totally change the game, well, they don't really totally change the game, but they give you new ways of scoring, and it gives you sort of a catch-up mechanism. If you haven't been doing so great, maybe the alien that is revealed can help you win the game. So yeah, there's two aliens, and you're going to discover them, hopefully discover them both, and SETI is an awesome, awesome engine builder. Earth. So Earth is, again, a kind of linear triggering engine building game where you are building out these different biomes. You're kind of building out biomes and starting life on Earth. It's almost like Earth is starting over and you're in charge of building up these ecosystems. So you get these cards and you play them into your tableau. And then when you take an action, similar to gizmos, when you take a specific action, the actions have colors. And then you're going to trigger in order all of the cards in your queue that are of that color. And you're going to use those benefits to play more cards out into your tableau. Once you have a certain amount of cards, that's going to trigger the end of the game, and you score up at the end. So yeah, that is Earth. Very popular, really cool linear engine building game that just recently came out. And finally here we've got Forest Shuffle. This is interesting because this is almost like a mini La Granja. This has multi-use cards, and those cards will, like, you lay down tree cards, right? And then you're building these biomes around the trees. So you are plugging the cards into the other card, kind of the way you do with the board in La Granja. So you've got different things that you can do with the different sides of cards, and you're plugging them in, deciding how you're going to use each card to build this engine of forest biomes. So that is Forest Shuffle. Well, folks, that's my engine building section. Thank you so much for watching part 3 of the collection, and I really appreciate your time. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more stuff and click that bell so you know when I do something new. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming by, and have a great day, folks. I'll see you in part 4.